Hello, here we go. It's the Cop-Out Podcast.
How are we, everyone? We weren't going to do this now, but we fucking might as well do it, because fuck me, that was fucking hard work. I'm Mick. I'm joined by Kristian again. We had a fucking great pre-match team news show, full of fucking good comments, and then Liverpool go and perform like that. And we're not going to do the fucking YouTube shit where we start being like, oh, fucking clap out and all that. But that was fucking horrendous, wasn't it, Chris?
Yeah, the only good thing is that I'm still on the whiskey. That's the only good thing.
Got to be done after that.
Yeah, to be honest, that was shite. You know, now I said
JJ,
it.
clip that,
yeah.
JJ.
Yeah, that was shite. I think we said before we started now, Mick, that the last 10 minutes of the first half we were actually getting into it a bit. But none of the other 30, 35 minutes we were underperforming. We were not good enough. We don't have enough creativity. It doesn't seem, it's more of a collective issue than, one player is out of form or whatever. It's like a central line with Van Dijk, Henderson playing instead of Fabinho, and even Firmino now, because he was obviously, we would tell the same, before the game that, he could knit it all together, play and being a bit of a bridge between the midfield and the offensive three. But the central line was, out of this game, and there's no help that Trent looks a little bit off. His defending is not good. He looks slow. He mispasses quite a lot. And, Salah is not having many options or chances going through. It's just like it doesn't click. We don't get the rhythm. We don't get the energy or intensity going. It's just like Fulham and Crystal Palace all over again in one way. We can't get there. We don't get up to the level that we have been used to since, several seasons back now. We just can't get it right.
Yeah, and that's the most frustrating thing. And Dom has summed it up. I am fucking fuming. And Yuki, embarrassing. Yeah. Ben, nice one for jumping in, Ben. Nice one, everyone, for jumping in at this stage, because that was fucking...
It's a therapy.
Yeah. If you stand still for too long, lads, like we have done with the signings, then you fall behind. Yeah, and Klopp's made reference to that, hasn't he? With the recent interview. I don't know if when you read the full interview, I don't know, you can cut an interview to make it look like he's having more of a go, but the midfield, as much as we were before the game, we were talking about last year we battered them with Keita, with the midfield of Keita, Henderson, and Milner, but Henderson and Milner are a year older, a bit slower, a bit Father Time's catching up even more with them.
Yeah, I'm very pro Henderson with the captaincy and the energy and intensity that he gives, just being a leader. But you can't rely on that, game after game if you can't put in a performance as a player. You can have someone shouting at you, you can't
defend it.
Exactly, it can't be game after game after game. You need to actually put in a performance as a player as well. So I think I told you now just before we started as well that. I think it was Ian Young apart from the Redmond TV, I think it says, against Bournemouth, we should start Fabinho, Carvalho and Elliott in midfield. And I'm not against it, because you can say, Milner, Henderson putting a performance in when it comes to fighting, but we have no creativity. Nothing really happens. And when Carvalho come on in the second half, you could see that he's actually trying to do stuff. He was involved. He had a shot that Salah scored. On the rebounds and all that. So something happens, and Elliott was good. So I'm not against that. I'm thinking, maybe we should just rest the older players that have had a bit of, a long time in a midfield and not now performing, so we can actually swap them with the younger ones that are hungry. I don't know. It just feels like a good option at the moment.
Fucking a reset is needed. We were joking around couple of days before this game, saying if United win, they're above us, and it was all a haha, yeah, that's funny. It's not going to happen. And then when it fucking smacks you in the face and you watch that shit,
Yeah,
and
I
then
know.
it's like I'm always a glass half full type of guy. Like if like negativity is not what I'm about really, but you can't even. That's one of the worst performances we've had on the Klopp, and I think Fulham was bad, but like to get outran by their team the way they've been playing, I don't think it's defendable. And like I just don't know. Fucking hell, man. I don't even know. But yeah, nice one, Ben. He's put a few more comments in for us to discuss. Midfield is a disgrace, but fuck me, lads. That back four is as bad at the minute. And he's
Yeah.
also
What did sorry, mate. What did Van Dijk do with first goal? When Milner obviously rightly so got up and shouted at him, but what kind of defending is that? You're standing with the hands behind your
to the
back, not moving, just standing like a statue. That's probably one of the worst performances we ever seen from Dijk, and he's world class, and he's in majority of all games he played for us, he's been one of the best defenders in the world all the time, high
that makes
level
it
all
worse,
the time.
doesn't it? Because we
But
expect
this
it to be good.
exactly, but then he's just showing like he's been like a young player doing with no experience doing mistakes like that. Yeah, and Milner obviously. Yeah, he shouted at him rightly so, but yeah.
Yeah, I think someone like put like a caption on it, and like I thought it was a joke at first, but it was actually what he said. I think Milner pretty said, "You've got to get out and close that out," because
Yeah,
when you see the still of it, Van Dijk stood there. Sancho obviously sends Milner for a fucking hot dog,
yeah.
and
But Milner just have to go though. He can't just think that
yeah,
he's going to turn. Milner just have to do it.
Milner has to do that, but
Yeah,
like Van Dijk, the way he's just stood off him, that you can't do that, especially when the goal is pretty much there's a whole fucking side of the net to hit that into.
yeah,
It's not like he's closing the angle because there's no angle to like. You need to close
exactly.
the
Yeah,
player down.
he needs to get near him and just close him down. Yeah, don't let him shoot from standstill.
Yeah, but Ben says got a big call to make now, Liverpool, because of this rate they'll share a load of points this season. Yeah, and let's just fly through these, Kristian, just to have a
Yeah,
see
yeah.
what we've got. Edo, nice one, mate, for jumping in. It's a disaster, guys. Need midfielders ASAP. We're starting games with Hendo and Milner. Still playing with players from the 2018 season as starters. It's madness. 10 days left for summer market. I imagine that is. Yeah, it's very true. Ben's put the worst for me, lads, is the energy, and this side looks absolutely gone. Couldn't have said it better,
Exactly.
mate.
I don't really think, we can talk about buying a midfielder or whatever, buying players. I get that frustration. I understand as well. And I'm not one saying I'm against it, but I can understand if we don't buy one, if it's not the right player and all that kind of stuff. But it's more scary in one way that we don't see the energy and intensity and the will of fighting from Hendo and Milner. Well, Milner's fighting, but you know what I mean? Like the collective group of players don't seem to put in the same fight together as we used to see them before. Like they were all over
Yeah,
the place before, putting pressure on teams. They don't even have the time to even think what they were going to do. But now it looks a little bit lazy. We're not, positioning right. We're standing in the wrong. Well, we're just, on the back heel all the time, not on our toes. And that's the most frustrating thing. Like he said
yeah.
there in the comments, like we're not into it from the start, and that's frustrating because we've been so used to see this Klopp team doing that from the minute one.
Yeah, and that's usually like a staple of a Klopp team, like closing down. And I just thought like Brentford just like not like a blueprint was needed to beat Man United because they're shit. But like I thought we'd at least try and match that a little bit in terms of like what we were gonna do. And I just
Yeah,
thought, like you said, we just didn't have there's just no energy there from even like obviously, yeah. John's poor was a pure shit show tonight, lads. Agree. Edo was put also Trent, Fab, and Virgil are out of
yeah,
shape. Yeah, and like so, like let's just go through it. Like fucking 16 minutes. We just talked about the Sancho goal, so we might as well not talk about that a little bit more. But like 16 minutes in, we were saying earlier, like we need a fast start, and it was United that did the fast start, and it's like like, how can you not know that Man United are gonna like come out like absolutely firing? If they got beaten those 2 games and then played, I don't know, fucking Bournemouth, it would have been difficult for them to get their heads up for it because Liverpool are coming to town. They want to. It's like a double whammy for them because like, well, we can't get any worse, and we've also got Liverpool in front of us that we can create a bit of a message by beating them, and that was kind of like how they set the tone, weren't it? Like the start of the game.
Yeah, it feels like Ten Hag told them that you need to outrun these. Like you need to run and fight. You're not going to win if you don't do that. You have to put in the performance, and he had his team doing that for him. Liverpool tried, and I know Klopp obviously would have told the team the same, but it seems like it doesn't, get there, and we don't do it. But Ten Hag seems to have had his message actually going to the players that we need to do this. This is the game plan. We need to run. This we can play our game, but we still need to run and cover spaces and close them down, which they did, and that's obviously made us look really, really bad because we couldn't find a rhythm at all.
Yeah, and that's the most frustrating thing because we just didn't look at it. Like the first half, like fucking hell, like there wasn't like I'm just trying to let me just get the stats up for the first half if I can. So yeah, they had 1 shot on target and scored, and 1 shot off target. We had 3 shots off target, and like we had 70% of the possession. But that doesn't. I don't give a shit about possession because like Martin Tyler doesn't ever usually say anything of fucking note because he's an absolute dickhead. But he actually said like it doesn't feel like. It might have been Carragher, actually. I can't remember. I was having a few drinks and I was getting a bit fucking pissed off. But someone in the commentary actually said, like, it feels like Liverpool's possession is just pointless because we're not doing anything with it. And it's like, that's kind of what it was like that first half, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think it feels like I think I wrote to you during the game as well on WhatsApp that, it's the last pass, it's the last kind of trying to take a shot. It's always the last ball. When we try to do something, it feels like it's not in the right moment. It's misjudged. It's misplaced. Everything, like even you're thinking about Trent and his passes. He's world class, but now it just seems to he's spreading the passes everywhere. It doesn't really, he aims for it, but he doesn't reach his goal. And when we have I think I know it's not easy. It's not like any one of us would go in and actually put the ball into the net when Hendo get the chance to shoot I think it's on a volley. It's a tough one, but I just want us to have that rhythm. Just hit the target. I don't say score, but just make the goalkeeper work. And he comes and you sit and he goes over the bar. And I know it's not easy. I'm not saying that should be a goal every time, but I just want us to have that, momentum where we actually sees that, we get the shot from that position, it goes on goal, and yeah, he could score, or the keeper saves it. But you get this, the feeling of, come on, we actually shooting on target. We are there. Soon we will score. But now it's like every time we reach that kind of chances, it turns out to nothing, and it feels more frustrating. And you can tell that the players feel frustrated as well when you through the TV when watching it. And I guess being at the stadium at that kind of game must be frustrating as well, because you want to shout and drive them on, but it must be frustrating to see that every time we get the last ball, it doesn't seem to reach a goal, or we don't do the right things with it. We just misplace it and misjudge all the time.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we've been going through this season. That's just like, there's so many moments in that game where you're like, that's typical Liverpool at the minute. Like, just like crosses that are flashing past the post, they're getting hit too hard.
Yeah.
Just not pressing the ball, and it's just like, fucking hell. Like, Benson Klopp saying there that we should have won the game. His head's gone. I found that's a bit mad if he said that, to be fair. I haven't seen that though. But many Premier League teams look on fire, ambitious and ready to fight to win, and we are the opposite. We used to be mentality monster, and we've lost the power. And Martin, nice one, Martin, for jumping in. Woeful, no words after that. And Martin, like me, is a top red, and like this is like all the top reds on me Twitter were all saying what the fuck is going on? When usually it's like, oh, come on, lads, we've had worse. You know what I mean? It's just one of them. Like, it's
We've
one
seen
of them things.
worse.
You can't. You get to the point where you're like, you can't find positives anymore. And I think that's Ben's. Yeah, so Ben's put Klopp. We should have won this game. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that is how I saw it. I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, Ben, towards the end, I weren't watching that much because I was just like, obviously Salah scored, and I've started watching a bit more. But to me, I don't believe that really. Like, I can see, because I think he said something similar in the Palace game, and even in the Fulham game, he said like we could have won it on a different day, and I agree with that one. But tonight, like, the hit us 16th minute, that's like a fast start. They hit us with a fast start. We couldn't recover. We get to half time, and then we were like, let's have a reset here and start again. They hit us with another goal 8 minutes after the half. And it's like they've hit us at the perfect times, like the start of both halves, where it's so difficult to come back. And that's the thing, isn't it, Kristian? Like, you can't, as many, like, in terms of like being at like injuries and stuff, you can use that, of course you can, because like Carragher mentioned it, like Thiago and Jota and Nunes and Matip and Canate, Gomez coming back in, partnering Van Dijk for the first time in 2 years. That can all go into the cauldron of like your excuses.
Yeah.
But I just can't be arse using them, because I just want to like be annoyed at this team and that performance, which is just, I thought it was shocking. I really did.
Yeah, I can understand a small bit that, without players like Jota to have on the bench, for example, to put him in like in the central instead of Firmino, if it doesn't work, you have that chance or opportunity to do that. But now we don't. Thiago, the player he is, playing in midfield and directing the game. I understand that. Obviously, I can understand the excuses in one way, because they are key players to help to get the game where we want. Or even if Jota wasn't starting, we could use him as a sub on the left or in the central. It gives us options that we, like I said before as well, like he's actually scoring loads of goals, and he's a little bit underestimated by many, to be honest. But now they're not fit, and we have to rely on the players playing, and they have to go out and actually show they are professionals and put a performance in, and they don't. So we can't say, oh, we don't have this player or he's out, whatever. Yeah, they are, and that's the fact. So what we do, we need to step up even more. Then, like, we know that these quality players is out, so what can we others do who are actually available to play, to go out and actually fight? I don't say you need to be as technical skilled as Thiago. You don't have to score as many goals as Jota, but I want you to fight, to bleed for that shirt and run for your life, and actually show that we are not going to give in just because of these injuries or suspensions with Nunez and all that. I want you to fight and show that you are worthy of the shirt, and that's enough for me. Even if we lose with 1 or 2-1 like this game, but we put the performance in, show that we actually want to play them, that's okay with me, because that can happen. But if you don't put in the performance, that makes me really angry, because I want to see you go to Old Trafford and actually, when you're meeting the worst Man United team for years and years, and with the start they had, go there and put in the fight. But if you don't do that, then you have to blame yourself. And that's probably why I can't take what if Klopp said what he said, in the comment where stated there in the interview. We could have won this game, or we should have won this game. Yeah, but then your players have to actually run more and put a harder performance in, if that's going to happen, because you can't just go there and do half things.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's half measures, isn't it? You can't win games of football, and that's what Liverpool are usually so good at, is like being full throttle. That's what we're all about. But
yeah,
the injuries have the toll. But like you said, the backup players need to see this as an opportunity, like, and come into the team and make us better. And it's like, you can't. Yeah, it's just fucking hell.
And you don't have to be the best. Just fight. Show that you want to run and fight.
Yeah.
That's enough for me. That could be enough for me in a long term. You're showing that you want to fight. You don't have to be the best player on the day, but you're showing, the fighting spirit for the team, and that can help very long. You saw Man United were fighting in many ways, and they got the points.
Yeah, because even like, say we won that game 2-1. Like, so the exact same game was played, but they only scored 1 and we scored 2, I'd still be pissed off because, like you rightly just said, the performance was just not good enough. I would have made up with the 3 points, of course I would, but I just feel like as a performance and as a collective, like you said, there wasn't any fight there. There wasn't at all.
We would probably sit there and say we're really happy with the points from that game. Like we're very, we were so happy that we got away with 3 points because we were not good.
It was an
And that's the problem. With this Liverpool team to be able to compete with Man City and be competing about the title the whole way through, you need to be on your toes all the way and put the performance in. You can't just go and be. Well, I feel that, we played Fulham, Crystal Palace, and now United. I wouldn't say United because it's a rivalry game and all that, but it feels like we are a little bit, underestimating the other teams that don't put 100% in, and that's an issue.
Yeah, and it's like, fucking hell. Like, I keep fucking saying fucking hell, but fuck me. Yeah. Ben's put, at what point, at what part of the game did we even look like winning? Never looked like scoring. Yeah. No. Seeing the first goal for 7 games in a row is a real worry. We aren't learning from previous setbacks like we normally do. Yeah, I know. I mentioned this on the preview show. Like, we've conceded we haven't kept a clean sheet since Newcastle back in April, and every game since then, and it's continued again tonight. We've conceded the first goal at the back end of last season. We'd conceded the first goal. I think we against Villa, Southampton, Spurs. And we came back in all those games and got a point or got the win. And like this season, you can't just keep going like that and expect a different result, especially when you're missing so many players. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Edo was put. Thiago's our best midfielder. Is quite old and always injured, and we didn't buy a good backup for him. Yeah. Ben's put, when you have 2 keepers on your bench in the league, 3 games in, that's enough to be breaking the bank on a few players. Yeah, well, it remains to be seen, like if we're gonna sign anyone, if anyone. But let's have a look at what else happened in that game. So obviously we went 2-0 down, and I just kind of switched off. Then I honestly did switch off. I was like, "Well, we've been playing shit. We don't deserve anything." And just before, 7 minutes before the goal, Fernandes gets the yellow card, and that's key, I think, for what happens when Mo Salah does score. And then, I mean, I didn't even celebrate the goal because it's too little, too late. Like, 10 minutes left in a game where you've been absolutely horrendous. You can't. If we would have got a draw, I would have been happy, but I still would have been so disappointed in the performance. But Bruno Fernandes then keeps hold of the ball, and someone cropped like a piece of like the FA rules about like what constitutes a yellow card, and it was like holding onto the ball too long, delaying the restart of a game. It's like he ticked like basically every box of what a yellow card is. And obviously, if you weren't on a yellow, you would have got a yellow. But it's that old thing where if you're on a yellow, those type of like half could be a yellow.
But I rather have the referee giving the yellow for that kind of stuff than he's actually putting in a bad tackle, if you like. Because a bad tackle, as long as it's not a dangerous tackle, but if you put in a bad tackle with a yellow card, I could go with the referee. You see, it's part of the game. You might not mean to hit someone bad because you're trying to get the ball if it's not from behind or with your studs up, whatever. But I'd rather have him giving a yellow for that kind of action instead of actually giving it for a hard tackle, because that's part of the game, and what he did is not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, and it's just like, I mean, it pales into insignificance really, because I was pissed off at that. But in reality, when you look back at the whole game as a whole, it's not even worth talking about. I mean, it is because we're pissed off, and it's a small thing. But if we would have played well and won that game, it wouldn't have been anything. It wouldn't have been a talking point.
One more thing though, like their second goal, I was sure that was offside.
I was, to be fair.
I know VAR, and we that has been discussed so many times in so many different places and environments and all that, but I can't get my head around it. You looked at the photos that's been shared on Twitter and stuff. I just feel like it looks looks offside with his body, and I can't say what's actually the right rules or the wrong rules because it feels like it's different every time with armpits or shoulders or arms or your above your torso, whatever. I don't get it. It's I don't say it as an excuse. It should be a goal, but I just looked at it straight away and I was like, that's offside. With my first eyesight, it's like offside. But then they draw the line and be like, no, it's onside. How can it be? Because I've seen so many times, not only us, other teams as well, with that offside.
Yeah, I mean, we all saw the instant. Like when you watch it in real time, it looks like, even when you watch the replay back, it looks like offside. And you see the green line they put up, and they're like, yeah, they're giving it as onside. And to be honest, it's what we deserved. To be honest, we didn't deserve. Like, but it's one of them. Like, it's we still want the decisions, but we just didn't fucking deserve it. Man, but if he wasn't booked, he would have been booked for that petulance. That's the annoying thing, and yeah,
exactly.
That's the thing. But yeah, I don't want to dwell too long on this because I want to go and have a few more beers, and I'm going on holiday tomorrow, so I want to get to bed early. And I'm on fucking Radio Merseyside in the morning, and I've got to think of like nice things I can say without swearing.
You're doing all the nice things, getting on the radio, going on holidays. I'm gonna fucking work.
Sorry,
it's not a bad thing though. I like my job, but it's a different thing to wake up in the morning after this kind of game and got off to Greece for holiday. And instead of waking up and you have to sit down and actually do your job.
Yeah, sorry, lad. There's worse things. I'm rubbing the rinse.
Well.
But yeah, we've done 26 minutes, so let's leave it there. I've got a bit off my chest and I feel a little bit better. But yeah, nice one to everyone in the chat. We've had Dom, we've had Yuki, we've had Ben, we've had Edo, we've had John, Martin, and then Edo. Nice one, Edo, for jumping in. Yeah, it's been good. Nice one, everyone. Nice one, Kristian.
Yeah, let's move on till next one. Bournemouth away, isn't it? Saturday.
Next two games are at home, which is good. Bournemouth home and Newcastle.
Bournemouth at home and Newcastle at home. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and then we've got the derby. So the good thing is there's two home games where you won't be getting away with that shit at Anfield. That's the good thing.
Yeah,
and we need to put that right very quick because I thought tonight was the night we'd put it right, and we've gone back further, in my opinion, which is very, very disappointing. But
yeah, two games to try to turn it around, and then we got the derby, and Nunez is back.
Yeah.
I don't say he's going to start there, but it's good to have options, though.
Good to have options. It's always nice to have options. Like what you said, Carvalho came on, did well. Yeah. Elliot was one of the shining stars of the game. So there's some positives there, but I mean,
not many, but a few.
Yeah, usually I'm like all about the positives if we like lose by one goal, but when you put in performance like that, I don't want to know about it. Like fucking hell, there's no point. But yeah, nice one, everyone. We're gonna leave it there. Nice one, Kristian.
Cheers.
I usually say up the Reds, but I'm just gonna say bye, everyone. Nice one.